Hello to all my friends of TvAgro. My name is Diego Diaz. I am a veterinarian of Faunatic Theme Park. We are located in Tenjo, Cundinamarca. Our visitors who come to this wonderful place because they have a close experience with all the animals. And that is why today, the park has more than 1,000 animals in different species, ornamental birds, mammals such as sheep, goats, horses, canines, felines, rodents, and an exotic bird species which are the ostriches. This integral management it is very important to carry it out, and it works as follows. The park has different operators who are in charge of a specific species, and they are under my custody. What we do is a preventive management one, and we must take into account that animal welfare must always prevail. How we achieve that welfare? With two basic principles. One is that all their nutritional and physiological needs are covered, and their mental state. We achieve that with the support of their operators, where each one of them is in charge of the maintenance of all the animals, in terms of their facilities, in terms of their handling in the diets, in terms of the substrates and the cleaning of the corrals, and the handling that we give to the animals mentally, to give them comfort, is also done by the operators, giving them the handling of changes of corral, giving them manipulation, so that they feel in their enclosures in a comfortable and pleasant way so that all the visitors can enjoy them in the best way. The park has different sections. We have a section of birds. This section has an operator. In this area we find ornamental birds mostly. The first of them are the ornamental hens. In addition to 10 breeds that we can find, we also find some relatives of the hens that are the family of pheasants. They are Asian birds. We also find semi-aquatic birds, which are divided into different groups according to their sizes. There are fancy ducks, we have geese, swans, geese, and the largest family is the ostriches, which are part of these ornamental birds in the park's collection. Then we continue with a section of rodents. We have a biotherium and we breed rodents to support a little bit the zoos and their parks that must be supplied with this type of animals. We have mice in several varieties, rats, which also need their maintenance, care and welfare. In the section of canines we find different breeds of dogs, where there is an operator specialized in the nutrition and training of these animals. In the canine section we find different breeds of dogs, where there is an operator specialized in the nutrition and training of these animals. Since the park presents a show and an exhibition of domestic animals is very nice, and they are the protagonists of the show. In this area we have an exhibition of various breeds of cats, where we also give them a management. The generalities, well, are basic. They have a weekly control of the feeding of these animals. Each operator knows the type of food to consume the animal according to its stage of growth, or if it is in an adult state. And we have a board where it is specified which are those formulations of diets with the different types of concentrate, of supplement. If there is an animal that is in exercise, then we are going to talk a little bit specifically of each species, how this management and feeding can be. In birds we must take into account 1, the comfort substrate to isolate, since we are in a cold climate, to isolate those wind currents, the general cleanliness of both feeders and drinkers to avoid the appearance of fungi, and the amounts of concentrate to give the ration which the animal needs. according to the number of individuals in the enclosures, that is the general management of birds. It should also be noted that, for each species for each zone, we have footbaths, since our operators move around different zones of the park, which is multi-species, so it is important that we always have disinfection zones for shoes, which is an important vector that can transmit certain pathogens or agents that may not be harmful for a species, to one that may be harmful and may present some disease. It is also important to disinfect the entrance to each one of the corrals. It is important for the operators as well as for some visitors, in the immersion corrals that we have as well as in the one we are present in, for the sheep. Regarding the management of the equines, they have a very specialized diet, according to the physical activity they are developing. They have a type of base concentrate, which is supplemented with grains, green fodder, hay, water, and medications that are given orally or intravenously depending on the activity they are exercising, for the equines also as they are in training. We have a trainer and a saddler that helps the physical activity of the animals. As for ostriches, management is divided into two stages. One is very important, the nutritional part. The appearance of the most common disease in ostriches are the impactions, by eating the soil substrate, which translates into poor dietary management. So the diet of these animals should always be very complete. And the handling, behavior, since they are very powerful animals. It is also important that the operator is trained to handle these animals, to understand a little of this ethology. These movements, and these signs that these animals can give us, so that he can assimilate it, and the animal is always in a very docile behavior, since they are animals that can measure 2.5 meters and weigh 120 kilos, and can become aggressive, if we do not know how to handle them. We have other species, which are easy to manage, which are sheep and goats. It is a herd management that we do with preventive medicine. There is a deworming program and weight control for them. Otherwise, the veterinary assistance that we may need is for some individual problem. It may be an accident. We have a female that we have to help in the birthing process. And speaking of the births, well, each species has its controlled reproduction program, where we take the days of gestation. We have the necessary equipment. We have the necessary equipment in the park to guard and provide health to the animals, such as microscopes, for example, to analyze reproductive issues such as semen evaluation, or to evaluate the blood of the animals. We also have an ultrasound scanner that helps us a lot in these reproductive techniques to follow up. And we have an office area, where I am in charge, where any animal that presents any novelty, any pathology, respiratory or digestive, or an accident, we are ready to be able to handle it. In general, it is very important that the person in charge of coordinating all the operators is very synchronized and well versed in the species we are handling, in terms of their enclosures, in terms of their feeding, and in terms of their welfare in general, in order to find animals that are very healthy, very comfortable, that can reproduce easily. Our main objective is that they can have that closeness. Become aware of the care of animals and plants, and value a little bit those natural resources that sometimes we have lost through the years. Always at the end of each month, we have a general closing. There is an important meeting with the operators, where it is evidenced and we listen to the people who are closer to the animals. as to what improvements we can have in the enclosures. If there is a problem animal in terms of behavior, if it is a reproductive male, if it tends to be very territorial in its enclosure, to give it the best possible management, the diets if they are well formulated, and we have had weight gains, but even though this place has farm animals that are only for exhibition and not for production, we always have adequate parameters, and when we have a farm or we give it a productive management, well, we must intensify much more. All those contributions of information regarding weight gains, the age of the animals, the deworming programs, which in itself is the purpose of this type of animals. Whether we are talking about poultry farming, swine farming, or livestock management, whether for milk or meat, all have the same management pattern: to carry out a company with animals that are well cared for, well kept, and that have an adequate welfare. Well, and with this we say goodbye. I hope you have learned a little about the management that we give to this type of animals. Do not forget to visit us in Faunatic's Theme Park, in Tenjo, Cundinamarca. Until next time.